Anyone like to call to order the Hatfield Township Board of Commissioners regular meeting for May 27, 2020? Roll call.
President Zipfel.
Here.
Vice President Rogers.
Here.
Commissioner Andrus.
Here.
Commissioner Lees.
Here.
Commissioner Zimmerman.
Here.
I'd like to ask our Township Manager, Aaron Bebro, to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance tonight.
Allegiance to the flag of the
States
United
of
States of America.
To the Republic,
The Republic for which it stands,
one
One
nation,
nation,
under
under
God,
God,
indivisible,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, well, good evening, everyone. And tonight's meeting is going to be relatively, or actually somewhat brief. We only have 2 action items that we addressed in our previous meeting. And for those of you who are wondering, we are anticipating our return to our regular home on June 24th, meaning our township building for our next meeting. Mr. Bebro, our township manager, is going to mention our schedule. We're only going to have 1 meeting in June, as is typical. I believe that's June 24th. Is that right, Aaron?
Correct.
And so we'll have a brief meeting tonight, but with any luck, we will be back in our regular house there in the township building in 1 month's time. So with that, I will we can move ahead, and why don't I I'll entertain a motion for approval of tonight's agenda. Is there such a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Vice President Rogers, second by Commissioner Lees, I believe. Any questions or comments about the agenda that's before you? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, we can approve this agenda and move forward. First is our consent items. Is there a motion to move the consent items into the record?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Andrus,
Second.
second by Commissioner Zimmerman. For those who are along with us and watching, the consent items include the Board of Commissioners regular meeting minutes of April 22nd, the Board of Commissioners workshop meeting minutes of May 13th, the Treasurer's report for the month of May, and the bills payable. Paid bills in the amount of $81,811.73 and unpaid bills in the amount of $1,524,889.03. With that, I'll call the question. All in favor of moving those items in the consent items into the record, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, those are moved into the record. Before I forget, I just need to mention that the commissioners met before this meeting in executive session to discuss litigation. With that, I'm going to open the floor to citizens' comments. Are there any citizens' comments on agenda items?
All right, 1 second, Mr. President. Residents, there are 6 of you, and 1 more is being admitted right now. So let me wait until that resident joins us. I'm going to unmute all of your microphones, all of the residents that are participating, and the floor is yours if you would like to make any public comments.
Any citizen comments on agenda items? All right, not hearing any. We only have 2 action items. We're going to jump right to them. First is Resolution 20-13. Is there a motion for approval with regard to the Pulte Group Del Webb North Penn Balm Farm Sewer Module?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Andrus.
Second.
Second by Vice President Rogers. Ken, do you have this one?
I do. Thank you. This we discussed this 2 weeks ago, and this resolution will accomplish one principal thing. This will allow the Pulte Group to submit for approval from DEP for public sewer service for their project planned for the Balm Farm right next to Ralph's Corner. And I think the board's familiar with it, but if anybody has any questions regarding the project itself, please let me know. Otherwise, this would then allow the planning module to be submitted to DEP, and once that's approved, the project would be just one step closer to final approval.
No questions for me, Ken. Anyone else have any other questions or comments?
No.
All right, hearing none, then I'm going to move forward with the resolution 20-13. All in favor of that motion, say aye.
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 Opposed? Hearing none, that motion is approved. Okay, our second item, action item, is there a motion to schedule consideration of and provide public notice regarding a settlement proposal between Hatfield Township and North Penn Holdings LLC for June 24th? The chair will make the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Lees. Kristen, if you would walk us through this.
Sure, thank you. North Penn Holdings LLC is the owner of what we all know as the American Olean Tile Facility, which is proposed for redevelopment. 115 acres of that is in Lansdale Borough, but there are 27 acres in Hatfield. If you remember last year, we rezoned that property from LI Light Industrial to residential, hoping to create a nice buffer for our residents along that property line. The owners of the property appealed that rezoning. They have filed motions and petitions in rapid fire. The litigation has been ongoing since. We have had a hearing in front of the judge. There's been some orders issued, and we've been having settlement talks. As you know, litigation is uncertain and it's expensive. And if they were to win, we could have a lot of buildings and parking areas up against our residents' property line, albeit 200 feet from the same. So the parties have been talking. We have been circulating terms which include a plan that has just a smidge of a building in Hatfield, over 600 feet of buffer. They would agree to deed restrict the property. So if it ever was developed, that would be the extent of the development in Hatfield. Hatfield's concerned about truck traffic, and they've agreed to a plan that would direct trucks out to Broad Street instead of down through Hatfield Township. So that traffic issue was a huge one. It was certainly important to Commissioner Andrus, and that we had that component as part so far. We're working on some mitigation, some dollars to be spent should the development ever happen, and as well as an extension of 9th Street out to Broad Street. This settlement agreement is going before the judge tomorrow at noon. Like I said, we're still working on the terms, but that's sort of the general idea. There's a new local rule from our president judge that we vet settlement agreements publicly, just like we would adopt an ordinance. So the purpose of this motion is to schedule that for June 24th so that we can have the details in front of us, you know, and know that the judge is okay with it, and then let the public comment and fully vet it with you guys. So that's what we're on. That's what we have scheduled for tonight, to schedule it for the 24th.
All right. Any questions or comments from the commissioners? Nope, hearing none. Okay, then I'll call a question. All in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, that is approved. Folks, we actually have an addition to our agenda tonight. It is a motion that our solicitor will walk us through in just a moment. Came to us earlier today and timely and needed to be acted on quickly. So I'm going to call, actually first raise the issue. Is there a motion to approve temporary license and indemnification agreement along Fricks Trail adjacent to Lot 2B?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Andrus,
Second.
second by Vice President Rogers. I know Bob is close to this one. Notwithstanding, I think, Kristen, are you walking us through this or someone else?
I will. And before I forget, we should ask for public comment when I'm done, since we didn't vet this at the top of the agenda. So we discovered, well, Commissioner Rogers brought to staff's attention a flooding issue that was occurring along Fricks Trail adjacent to Lot 2B on Sterling Drive. Staff went out, engineers went out, Nappen went out, and they, the township, extensively to divert water to solve the drainage issue. As part of that, they've also agreed to have a trail on a portion of their property that they're willing to subdivide to the township. We're able to avoid a guardrail that's up on Sterling Drive by the relocation of the trail, and giving us this land for nothing. They've only asked that we put a post and rail fence along the property line so there's a visual barrier for people who traverse the trail, and that we cover all the expenses. So they've given us their CAD files to, so that we can obtain this additional land and open space. Brian's working on that application to get it through. And in the meantime, while we process the subdivision, this agreement allows us to use the trail and indemnifies them with the typical hold harmless language while that process, and it contains the terms that I described as well. So it's staff recommendation that you approve this agreement so we can get that moving.
All right, that's a great recommendation. Any questions or comments from commissioners or otherwise? All right, if not, I will call a question. All in favor of,
Wait, hang on, public comment first.
oh, sure.
All right, 1 second. So every resident will be unmuted that is joining us this evening. Give me 1 second.
Are there
All
any
right.
comments on the motion that was just described to us by our solicitor? All right. Excuse me, did someone have a comment? No? Okay. All right. So, Aaron, we're going to move forward with the vote on that. With that, I'll call a question. All in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, that motion is approved. Okay, last, citizens' comments. Any other citizens' comments on agenda items or otherwise?
Okay, 1 second. Unmuting again. All right, all the residents are unmuted.
Tina and Bob here. I'm just going to say my usual thank you, everybody, for getting us all through this pandemic time, and happy to hear that everybody's safe and healthy. So thank you again from both of us.
Yes, and we're looking forward to seeing the both of you June 24th.
We're looking forward to seeing all of you. Yes.
It'll be good to get out, for sure.
Yes.
That's what happens with Crow to lock up.
That's right.
Uh-huh.
People are even excited to see their commissioners. That's how bad it's been for them.
That's funny.
All right, any other questions or comments? All right, hearing none, then, like I said before, it's a short meeting tonight, but in-person meeting next time. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Andrews, second by Commissioner Zimmerman. Any questions or comments? I'll call a question. All in favor of adjournment, say aye.
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 Opposed? Hearing none, we are adjourned. We will see you in 1 month's time, June 24th, in the building. Thanks, everybody.